This is the Supreme Court of the United States of America, was founded in 1789. The Supreme Court is exactly what its name indicates. It is the ultimate legal authority in the country. The Supreme Court has varied in popularity during its history. The Supreme Court settles arguments between citizens and the federal government, arguments between states, arguments between the states and the federal government. The Supreme Court's jurisdiction is far-reaching.
The Constitution is the governing document that determines the laws of the land. There are 10 rights that are guaranteed to every citizen of the United States. These are inalienable rights. This document is known as the Bill of Rights. The Supreme Court is not supposed to be politically biased, but when a group of people are nominated by politicians basically because of their political beliefs, the Federalist Society, the ACLU, all want to suggest the next nominee for the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the ultimate face of justice, but historically it is not the greatest defender of personal freedoms currently because of the extreme conservative death grip on the country. Personal freedoms in the land of the free are in jeopardy. We, especially women, woke up with less rights than we went to bed with.
Okay, yesterday, Friday, the Supreme Court finally overturned Roe versus Wade. We know it was coming because of a leaked opinion by Alito, who wrote the opinion for the majority. He wrote the majority opinion. This is not a surprise because even though the Supreme Court is supposed to be apolitical, and at times it has appeared to be what it's supposed to be, when you stack it with a majority of ultra right-wing opinionated people who have throughout their legal career, no matter what they did, have always touted the conservative view whatever level they were in the justice system. You could depend on them to interpret justice from the right-hand side, on the conservative side. They prosecuted as conservatives, they judged as conservatives, they vote as conservatives, and now they're on the highest court in the land. And they have no gut. They don't, once they're there, they don't owe anybody anything. They're there for life. They can't get kicked off, and they don't have anybody over them. They judge themselves. What a perfect opportunity to be an asshole and get away with it. I mean, it's a dream job for an asshole. And right now, we definitely got 5 assholes sitting on the Supreme Court. Clarence Cracker Thomas, Samuel, I don't give a fuck about anybody, Alito, Mr. I look like Ward Cleaver at 80, Neil Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett, the Stepford wife that could, and everybody's favorite drinking buddy. Yep, none other than Mr. Brett Kavanaugh. These people, for all practical intents and purposes, are the Supreme Court, because the rest of them don't count. As long as these motherfuckers stay together, nobody else can get a damn thing done. And even with Justice John Roberts, who is a self-proclaimed conservative, and the quote-unquote Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, he has no input. So on a lot of things, he votes for the minority, even though he doesn't agree with the law or he doesn't agree with the political opinion. He just votes to make because he knows what he really wants to happen is going to happen, but he just wants to make the court look legit. Like, hey, I'm a conservative and I voted with liberals, so you can't really say that it was a fucked up thing. You know, it was a bipartisan opinion. But the whole thing is, party politics is not supposed to be on the Supreme Court. It's supposed to be according to the law, or it's supposed to be according to an interpretation of the law by judicial minds. Not about, didn't say anything about religion, didn't say anything about Democratic or Republican. It didn't say anything about social input. It said a law, interpreting the law based upon existing law according to judicial review. That's all they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to represent the presidents that nominated them. They're not supposed to represent the political parties that they vote for. They are supposed to represent the law, justice. The Supreme Court, in the condition that it's in, is increasingly not doing that. So now we have to ask ourselves, why is the highest court in the land that's supposed to protect our liberties the leading cause of us losing our liberty? And some of the justices on this court are promising that they are going to take more of our liberties if they are given the choice. I know. You're sitting there asking yourself, Uncle Ricky, how the fuck is this happening? How the fuck is this happening? The people that are supposed to protect us, they trying to fuck us and take away our freedoms. How, Uncle Ricky, how? Well, look, children, people in the middle, friends of mine, give me a few minutes and I will explain it here at Uncle Ricky's house.
Because there is no formal mention of abortion in the Constitution does not mean that abortion is not a right of an individual, a woman in the United States of America. The whole question on individual rights was, as specified by the Constitution, falls to another basic question of who is an American, because the original language of the Constitution was only if you interpreted it literally, was supposed to only be men, and the men that considered that the Constitution covered them considered that only to cover white men. So women in general were screwed, and any male that wasn't white didn't have any rights according to the one interpretation of the original Constitution. So when Jane Roe, which was an anonymous, which was the name of the plaintiff suing the Dallas district attorney, Wade at the time, for her right to have an abortion, which the state successfully blocked her from having that abortion before she had the baby, but she still carried her case on. The Supreme Court, by the time it got to the Supreme Court ruled that Jane, as a citizen of the United States, entitled in the 14th Amendment, she had her right to privacy, and having a child was her private right. She could decide what she wanted to do to have the child or not have the child. Therefore, abortion was not illegal in the United States, and no state could outlaw or ban abortion totally. And any restrictions they put on abortion had to fall within federal restrictions or federal guidelines. So for 50 years, this was the law of the land. For 50 years, abortion was available by law in every state in the union. It was not accessible to everybody. It was not openly available in some states. It was not available without consequence in any state. because even though it was not legally illegal to get an abortion, you still had to put up with the consequences of the religious far right, uh, family opinion, social opinion, religious opinion. But by it being legal, abortion became woven into the fabric of the United States. There are women today that grew up with abortion being legal, and now they're sitting there wondering, like, what the hell happened? It's no longer legal. How did it go away?
Look, it's pretty simple. The Supreme Court, because of the way that it's been stacked, is no longer a judicial, it's a quasi judicial, legislative, Christo fascist, right wing conservatory. I mean, these people are supposed to be interpreting the law, but it's so many of them in the right place at the right time that the law is whatever they say it is. America is on the verge, and they're there for life. So America really is on the verge of being pushed over, democracy no more, over into the abyss of whatever comes next. You know, anarchy, I don't know, fascism. Fascism seems to be the most likely choice because it's a fascist here, it's a fascist there, it's a fascist. You know, people are just waking up using the term autocrat, but you got to realize it's like on TV. TV makes you look 10 pounds fatter. America is always 10 years behind when it comes to whose politics is running the country. Fascists are running this country. Y'all want to call it autocracy if you want to. It's full blown fascism. It has all the ingredients in it: autocracy, nationalism, racism, extreme spiritual beliefs, white evangelical church thinks they run this country, and in some cases they do because all of the motherfucking justices that are doing all this crazy shit right now are extreme Christian right wing people. And how did they get there? No, they're not elected, but they serve for life, and they got there because we continue to elect idiots that they don't care about the country. All they care about is pushing their feeble-minded, narrow-minded agendas so that they can rob the country blind while they do it. And they were smart enough to figure out that if we control the court, the Supreme Court, in de facto, we are the government. They're the government. Clarence Cracker Thomas has already promised, hang on to your bloomers, motherfuckers, because we coming for all your shit. Gay rights, gay marriage, poop. Soon as somebody shoots us the right case where we can fucking say, no, that's just based on bullshit law, and watch it tumble down. It'll bring down the house of cards on that. Now, I'm going to close with this thought because I think you've already gotten the picture that the Supreme Court is corrupt just due to the administrations of the far right wing Republican Party that has morphed into the MAGA Trumpist fucking party, and the concerted effort of one Mitch McConnell and one Donald J. Trump looking to put his brand on America, shoved three ultra right wing conservative justices on the Supreme Court in a span of 4 years, while successfully, like I said before, like successfully keeping Obama from getting his nominee, even getting a hearing for him for a whole year, for Obama's last year in the White House. They said one thing to keep Maryland Garlic out, and then when it came time for Miss Stepford wife, Amy Coney, they reversed their decision and said, yeah, we can do it now. And you wonder why some idiot goes into the White House and says that, yeah, I got this plan to where the vice president can decide who the next president is, and somebody tells him, well, you wouldn't. Gore didn't do that when he ran against Bush, and he was the vice president that had to call the election. He called the person that defeated him, and you wouldn't want. God forbid Kamala Harris got to do it at the end of her term, especially if a Republican won. Yeah, but I think you should do it now. This is how these motherfuckers think. And now that we got a whole Supreme Court full of them, the shit is going to fly. Is there any hope? Well, yeah, you can codify Roe versus Wade, but it'll still be holes in it. You could legislatively. Now this is the screwed up part. Yes, Congress, Senate could get this shit together and make a law saying that abortion is legal in the United States. They could pass the law, but the Supreme Court, because they've already ruled that abortion is unconstitutional. That's what this ruling does. It basically says that abortion is unconstitutional because there's nothing in the Constitution to support to directly support abortion. Now, how is a document written in the late 18th century going to support a problem or a social condition in the 21st century? That's like Thomas Jefferson being responsible for having your grandmother's cell phone number or some bullshit like that. I mean, it's just that ridiculous. But this is where we are. We have 5 right wing, and one of them is a female. Believe it or not, one of them is a female. So there is a step. You could best believe it. A Stepford wife can do it. I mean, she's a judge on the Supreme Court. You can't nag it. She made it, and she's a stone cold, batshit crazy Stepford wife. But if Congress and Senate get their shit together, if these assholes are still seated, and the distribution of conservative versus liberal or conservative versus moderate, because some of the 3 that they call liberal really ain't that liberal, and then Judge Roberts, as soon as it looks like his vote is needed to carry the conservative side, he's gonna shed his liberal, this was fair. I mean, he's gonna vote with the rest of them to make that conservative point go over. The only reason he's not voting with them now is, one, they're not listening to him. They're not tempering their decisions. They're going for the jugular right off the bat. And Roberts knows as fucked up and divided as the country is now, that's just going to deepen the divide, and he's trying to avoid that. But he can kiss that goodbye because Clarence Thomas is running the Supreme Court. He's doing the same bullshit that Joe Manchin is doing with the Democratic Party. Manchin is trying to run the Democratic Party. Clarence Thomas is running the Supreme Court. Notice the last couple of decisions that have come out of the Supreme Court, he has always tried to have the final word, telling people, look out, because we coming to take your shit, and it's not a damn thing you can do about it because I'm Uncle Clarence, and this is my Supreme Court. Yes, the N-word is in charge now. Point blank, yeah, I said it. I'm not sorry. Hope I don't get banned for it, but somebody had to say it. Well, that's all I'm going to say for now. As always, if you like what you heard, if you think I'm doing a good job, if you don't think I'm doing a good job, there's an option for you available there. Subscribe, like, share, dislike, comment. Do one or the other. Be greatly appreciated. be greatly appreciated. If you want to, if you really are that rare person that wants to write me, something on, on a personal level, you can hit me up at Uncle Ricky's House at yahoo.com. That's capital U, little N, CLE, capital R, ICKYZ at yahoo.com. Till next time, God bless, peace out. And we gonna get through this, people in the middle. We not gonna give up this time. We gonna make it through this shit. Peace out.